Folks, I am your host, DashV, and we are live on Retro Reload. An extra special treat for you today.
I am DashV's son, CrowdedAttic.
Welcome aboard. So we caught the Tomb Raider movie on Friday, and we're gonna be covering that. Also downloaded Fortnite last week.
Yeah, I did.
So
I played it.
should we be talking about Fortnite, or are we talking about Tomb Raider? But first, why exactly are you on the show?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm here to make the show great again. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be bigger than the wall. Ask Sean. He knows.
All right. No politics on the show. No politics on the show. No, you're here. You're gonna tell us. You're gonna actually talk to us about Fortnite, right? Because you've played it and I haven't.
Yeah, I've played it.
And we're gonna kind of trade stories in terms of Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and start off. Unfortunately, Lizzie, Hedgehog, and some of the other folks couldn't make it tonight. But don't worry, we are strong. We are small in number, but we are mighty. We are mighty in spirit.
Like I said, I'm gonna make the show great again.
Yes, we heard my little politician there.
I'm not actually a politician.
Oh, thank goodness. So, onto the subject of Tomb Raider. I've been reading before I went to see the movie. I love the game. Anybody that's seen the show knows I love the game. I bought the Xbox One. The whole reason I even got into the Xbox One this generation was because of Tomb Raider. Right, it was going to be a timed exclusive on the Xbox One, so I had to have it there. I couldn't wait just an extra couple of months. I'm not really a big PC gamer. I do some gaming occasionally, but I don't do a lot of gaming on the PC. So I want to be able to play Tomb Raider in my living room early, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And so I got an Xbox One, and then after that I found other games like Cuphead, Quantum Break, Alan Wake, all these really excellent games, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Army of Two.
Army of Two, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later. We've been playing Army of Two, which was one of the free games with gold, I think, a month ago. We've been playing that in Bro-Op mode.
Are you sure it's called Bro-Op mode? I thought that was for Broforce.
I just call it Bro-Op.
It sounds way cooler than Co-op.
It does. Yeah, I agree. Bro-Op. So yeah, lots of really good games on the Xbox scene. But so when I heard the movie was coming out, I heard Alicia, I don't know if it's Vikander or Vikander, so I'm going to say Vikander. And Alicia, if you're watching the show, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Come on the show and, we'll talk about it. You can teach me to properly pronounce the name. We could talk about the excellent job you did in the movie. And with that, let's begin the review. So I saw, let me just summarize, I guess, some of the stuff I saw from Kotaku, because I saw their take on it. Everybody, no big surprise. Everybody kind of has their own opinion on the movie and how good or bad it is. And so I first of all, I think the New York Times, they wrote an article talking about how Alicia gets the Lara Croft character totally wrong, bad acting, etc. At one point, they even accuse her of of looking directly at her marks before she does her scenes. And I don't know what was in the food that New York Times article writer ate. I don't know who like abused them when they were younger, but I don't know what their beef was with Alicia's, performance, because I thought that she did really good. I thought she did a very convincing job as Lara Croft. But I do have to say, and this wasn't Alicia's fault, this is really like more of how the movie was presented. Folks, you should watch the movie, but be ready for canon shock. You are going to see a different Lara Croft than what you saw in the Tomb Raider reboot video game. Yes, she wears the same outfit. Yes, some of the scenes are in spirit from the game. The island of Yamatai is from the game. Different things that she goes through are from the game. That said, this is a different version of the character than what you saw in that game. I think the biggest thing, we're going to try to stay pretty spoiler free here.
Yeah.
Unlike Kotaku. Thanks for the spoilers, Kotaku. There's not really a lot of twists and turns in this movie. But the one twist that there was, Kotaku spoils it in like the third paragraph of their review. So I was actually really pissed off when I watched the movie, because that would have been a nice, neat surprise, and instead they ruined it. So
I have a spoiler alert for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
About Lara Croft.
What's that?
Spoiler alert for the Tomb Raider movie. It's about Lara Croft.
It is. Yeah, it is. But it's about a different Lara Croft than Patrick Harrison. Agrees. He said she did great. But
is he a viewer?
What's that?
Is Patrick Harrison a viewer?
Yeah, Patrick Harrison. He's watching us in the chat.
Yeah, Wow, I can't see the chat.
You can't see the chat, because we didn't set that up. But next time we'll get you set up with that, and then you'll be able to see the chat like me. For now, I have the phenomenal dad-like powers.
That's all right.
But yeah, Patrick, agrees that she did great. Lister's mate, what's up? What's up? As we're talking about the Tomb Raider movie. I agree. Patrick even says, I loved her. She did amazing. I think so. I think the stunts were fantastic. One of the things that was really interesting, I was nervous about going to see the movie, and here's why. I actually didn't have a problem with the Angelina Jolie movies. I thought that they were kind of silly in some ways and campy in some ways. But as far as, video games to movies go, I felt like they did a pretty good job. Now, it certainly wouldn't have been difficult to make a better movie than those. And I think that this new Tomb Raider movie is a better movie than those, just because visual effects and cinematography and acting as a craft, like all these things have evolved since the time that Tomb Raider, the movie, came out with Angelina Jolie. So I think Angelina did a great job. I love both movies. I know that I'm in a minority on that. But my real concern with the new Tomb Raider movie was not that they couldn't make a good movie, but it was that the game reboot was so good, and the story does lend itself to film very, very well, but I don't know that I want to sit there for 2 hours and basically watch a movie version of everything I played in the game. So that was a real concern for me. I do have to say, folks, you're going to see things in the film that you did not see in the game. There are story elements and divergences that they take in the film that are not at all part of the game. And so that's why I say be ready for canon shock. They are going to go in different directions with certain things and certain backstory elements that you did not see in the game. So the upshot is, I really like that I saw a bunch of stuff in the movie I was not expecting to see, except for the stuff that Kotaku spoiled in their review.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. The other thing that you're not going to see is you're not going to see the Laura that you knew. Just like the Tomb Raider game reboot was a reimagining of the character, so you saw her differently than you'd seen her in every previous game. You're again going to see a different Laura. And I think that it actually works. But I'm going to get back to how the Laura is different after I let Crowded Attic give his thoughts on the movie. What were your thoughts? You think I'm off base, or?
This is the first Tomb Raider movie I've seen, but I really liked it. I've watched Dad play the Tomb Raider game. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and so I know a bit of the story. And also, in the mornings, I read his graphic novels when he's not looking.
As long as they're the Tomb Raider graphic novels, that's A-okay. Not that I have other graphic novels that he shouldn't be reading, but I'm just saying.
Those are the only ones I was able to find, and the only ones I was interested in.
Fair enough.
I definitely thought it was cool how they were able to sort of get familiar elements from the game and put them into a movie that's non-canon. I think that was it's a good way of easing people into the franchise. Yeah. And I definitely liked the movie.
Were you convinced? Did you like Alicia's performance? How did you think Alicia did?
She was Lara Croft.
Okay. There's no point at which you felt that she was just an actress playing a part. You believed that she was Lara Croft.
Well, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I already knew she was an actress, but
Well, you know what I mean. Like in
yeah.
the suspending disbelief, you were able to believe that in this fictional world, right? What'd you think of the visual effects and all that other stuff? Like compared to like you've seen stuff like the Star Wars movies and all that other stuff. Was there any scene like me? I didn't personally see any scenes where I'm like, oh, that's clearly CG and bad. And I thought the visual
Yeah.
effects were actually really good. Never did it get in the way for me. But was there anything you picked up that maybe I missed?
Honestly, I actually the visual effects were amazing. It was like they deal them in real life. I couldn't tell it was CG at all. Like I've seen many movies like Star Wars, which don't get me wrong, these are good movies, but there are some points where I can tell those explosions are CG.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So, um, so something I'm going to talk about a little bit more about is the character Laura Croft. And Crowded Attic. Again, this is your first real. You've seen Tomb Raider starting with the reboot,
yeah,
and then you've seen the movie. So those are really the only two versions that you know. But I've been with Laura Croft since she was first on the scene back in the original PlayStation days, and we have those games actually in the
yeah.
backlog.
I've read their
So
instruction manuals when weren't looking either.
that's totally
That's
okay.
actually a hobby of mine. I like looking at game instruction manuals.
Yeah, it's a good thing because every now and then I'll be playing the game and be like, "What the heck?" And he'll be like, "Hit R2, Dad. Hit R. Just no, just hit. Just let me do it." And I'll be like, "Good, yeah. How do you know
Actually,
this stuff?" He's like, "I read the manual."
also, I have a lot of experience in gaming.
Yeah. So one of the things that you're gonna find in the movie version of Laura Croft is that the movie version of Laura Croft, slight spoiler here, she's not an adventurer. She doesn't start out as an adventurer. In the game, even the reboot game, she's an adventurer. And in the game, her sense of adventure, right, above all else, right, her sense of exploration, adventure, and her naivete, if you will, gets her into trouble. And in fact, it gets her into so much trouble that her backstory and her character arc in the video game reboot Tomb Raider kind of follows like a Peter Parker Spider-Man thing. You remember that one, Thomas? You've seen,
Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming
right? Well,
and Captain America: Civil War.
did you see the other Spider-Man?
What other Spider-Man?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I'm gonna have to fix some
Is it
problems
the
here.
ones that are done by Sony?
The
Like,
first set that was done by Sony, not the second set.
okay, because I like other than the fact that the ones from Sony were kind of
The
not what
first
Marvel
set,
wanted.
the first set was actually pretty good. The first set where they did like Doc Ock and the Goblin and stuff like that was pretty good. But I guess what I was going to get at is so Peter Parker's backstory in the original Spider-Man that Sony did was that he gets himself into trouble. He fights this guy or something happens and he ends up the guy takes advantage of him in like some weird way. And then I think he's at a pawn shop or something. And then some burglar comes in and robs the pawn shop. And Peter Parker has the ability to stop the burglar. And he just basically like looks at him and lets the burglar walk out, right? And Peter Parker feels really great in that moment because he could have helped out this pawn shop owner, but he doesn't. The burglar runs down the street and actually ends up bumping into Peter Parker's grandpa and kills him. And so now, yeah. So now Peter Parker has to live with this whole like he had the ability to stop somebody evil, but he chose not to because he felt more like he could choose when to be good and when not to be good. But because he chose not to do the right thing, somebody that he cared about died. And so he carries that with him like the whole rest of the series is him basically overcoming this guilt that he has of like his grandpa died because of him. Well, they kind of do the same
Well,
thing with
wasn't it
Laura
his
Croft
uncle?
in the two. What's that? It might have been his uncle. Maybe I'm getting it slightly wrong, but the survivor's guilt, right, was basically what drove Spider-Man's story arc in that version of Spider-Man. In Tomb Raider, the game, the reboot, they did the same thing. Like Laura's sense of adventure gets them stranded on this island that they shouldn't have been on. They get manhunted. All this stuff happens, and all her friends that are dying around her, it's all her fault. And so, really, what happens is she's got this sense of adventure and all this other stuff. She learns survival and things like that. And you know, it's kind of like an adventurer, totally naive, learns the world really sucks and there's people out to kill you, therefore kill or be killed, you need to survive, right? And so she is the adventurer and she learns to survive. In the movie, the only spoiler I'm going to give you is be prepared for a Lara Croft that is a survivor, not an adventurer, right? But gains a sense of adventure through this thing that happens to her that forces her to have an adventure while trying to survive. So in the end, the movie does get her to the same place as the game. I'm not saying that the ending is the same or that the storyline is the same. That's why that's not a spoiler. But I can say both the first game and the first movie right now actually leave Laura in a place where she's the Laura that we've come to know in all the other versions of it. She's, you know, a gun-toting, adventure-seeking, surviving badass, which is the Laura that we want to see. Now, what I thought was really cool, though, is because they took different steps to get there, I saw a totally different story and a totally different growth curve for Laura than I did in the game, which was good because it gave me something new. But at the same time, it really gives me something to look forward to with the sequels because I expect the sequels to diverge as well. They'll maybe have the spirit of the second game, but it's going to be something different. There'll be new things to see. There'll be new growth elements of that Lara Croft. But it's kind of like you've heard Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio series pieces of it, right?
The first beginning of it, I guess.
Yeah, and you've seen the movie, I think, and you've read the book, right?
I haven't read the entire book,
but enough of it. Like there's differences between things that happen in the movie and the book and the radio show.
Yeah,
they're very different stories, right?
And even wasn't there also a TV show?
There was a TV show, yeah, which had differences in that as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty close to the book, but still not exactly the book. So, so this is more of like the Hitchhiker's Guide. Like this is Lara Croft adapted for the screen, but I feel like they did a good job with it. Now, you are going to see a lot of reviews out there. The reviews on this are very mixed. Hey, famous Hector G, how you doing? Now, I would say as mixed as the reviews are, folks, if you Google Tomb Raider right now, you'll see that even though Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 50% and IMDb gives it a 6.9 out of 10, Empire gives it a 2 out of 5, I don't know what kind of crack these guys are smoking because if you look at it, 89% of Google users have thumbs up that they like the movie.
And these are like, and this is more people than I'm just assuming these are more people than what these big media reviewers have. I mean, these are just. I'm pretty sure there's like at least one person only who does the review. Am I correct?
I wish that was the case.
Or they're paid.
I wish that was the case, right? I don't know. Like I think people are sharing their genuine opinion, but here's the big deal that I have with it, right? Like it's become so fashionable to just hate on movies. Like honestly, Tomb Raider was not a bad movie. If you named it something other than Tomb Raider, I think half the criticism would instantly die away and people would just be like, it's an okay action movie, right? Like seriously, it wasn't a bad action movie. Was it predictable? Yeah, it was predictable.
I even guessed what one person was gonna say.
Yeah,
word for word.
So, but at the same time, I thought that they did pretty good adapting the source material for the screen, giving me something new to see. Even though playing the whole game, right, and the whole second game, I saw aspects of this Lara Croft that I'd never seen before in a version of Laura that I didn't feel violated the character in a way. It didn't make the character like the wrong character or the bad character, that kind of thing. So everything that you see, you're with Laura, you're going to see a Laura that's she's built to survive. Like she does not. One of the things I didn't like about the game is that the game was constantly victimizing Lara Croft. She was constantly in situations where she's getting attacked or where she's and okay, yeah, she's in a game, there's enemies that are going to attack her, but what I mean is like she was constantly at a disadvantage and constantly trying to figure out like how to hide, sneak away, right, all this other stuff in the cutscenes and everything. And then meanwhile in the action scenes you're like killing the hell out of people. So it's like, wait a minute, hiding,
That does
hiding,
not make
crawling,
sense.
sneaking, and then like as soon as I have control, I'm like taking people out with like.
It's like a split personality. One
It
side
was.
is like scared of the world, and the other side's like, I'm gonna kill y'all.
Yeah. Now this Laura Croft starts out, I'm not going to take shit from anybody. I'm not going to allow myself to be a victim. I'm not going to accept things the way that they are. I'm going to, if you take something from me, I'm getting it back, right? So that was the kind of Laura Croft, which I really thought played a lot better to the whole, like, if you're going to have her killing people later, whether it's in the movie or the game, I think it's a lot more believable to me when the person already has that survival instinct built in, like they're built to survive. So versus somebody that like just is looking for adventure, right? Just is looking to explore, and now suddenly they got to kill or be killed. Like I have a harder time with that reach. So Lister's Mate says he's read all the books of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he has the movie and TV show on DVD. And then there's an entire segment for the movie, The Hitchhiker's Guide, that wasn't even in the books. Douglas Adams made it specifically for the movie. I believe you're referring to the planet that they're on that has the fly swatters that come up and hit them in the face. You're talking about where the Vogons live, I believe, is the segment that you're referring to there. So, but let's talk about so that sums it up, I guess, for Tomb Raider. I personally, as a Tomb Raider fan, I know I can't speak for every fan because there's some people who saw it that were fans that felt.
I'll be right back. I have to go get something.
Okay, that felt pretty adamantly about it, but the the Tomb Raider I lost my train of thought now because I started eating French fries and then he walked off screen. So friends don't let friends walk off screen while eating French fries. What I'm wondering if he's going to use the restroom and flush the toilet while he's off screen. That would be hilarious. So where'd you go?
Dad,
are you up here?
I had to get something important.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. You weren't gonna like use the restroom and then like do a flushity flush and then.
I'm totally gonna do that now. I'm totally doing that now.
Oh my goodness. So the entire church scene, yeah, all the stuff. You're right. All the stuff with the character John Malkovich's character in the Douglas Adams movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, was totally made up for the movie.
All right, I'm back.
But Thomas, now that you're back my friend,
my ice cream.
So I want to summarize, I guess, Tomb Raider movie. I say that it was a decent movie. I say that if you like Lara Croft, you should see the movie. I think that you're going to get elements of her backstory that you did not get in the game. Well, I know that you're going to get elements of her backstory that you didn't get in the game. You will have to adjust a little bit to, yes, this is a different Laura than what's in the game, even though she looks like the Laura that's in the game. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it necessarily breaks her character. And here's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that if the movie doesn't get enough attention, popularity, and sales, that we're not going to get a sequel. And I think that'd be a real tragedy because with the foundation that they've laid here with Tomb Raider 1, I would really be interested in seeing where they take this Lara Croft, a survivor from the start, not going to be a victim, not going to take crap from anybody. Where do you go with her from here? And I think the sky is the limit. So I think that it was a decent enough movie to where it should get a sequel.
Definitely. It should definitely get a sequel.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Yeah. So with that note, right? Thomas, my friend, tell us a bit about Fortnite, right?
All right. So before I give you a player's experience of Fortnite, I'm going to warn you, unlike other mainstream reviewers like IGN and a few articles from Game Informer I've read, I'm not reviewing the Save the World version of the game. I'm reviewing the Battle Royale game. Okay. So it is a free-to-play game, and there are microtransactions. However, these don't affect the gameplay. They're purely for cosmetics. So for those who are concerned about it being a pay-to-win game or something like that, you don't need to buy anything with real money in order to enjoy the game. So it is in early access, and so it's not completely finished, but it's one of the it's early to it's accessible to the public, so they're able to so that people can be able to play it and send their feedback about bugs and stuff. I think early access is pretty good for spotting bugs before the game releases. But enough about early access stuff. Let's get into the actual gameplay. So,
how does it start out? Like, what happens? What's like is there a story to it? Like, I don't even know.
Well, if you're doing Save the World, there's side missions, and I assume there's a story there. I haven't actually played that one yet. I'm gonna wait until the game's out of early access.
Mm-hmm.
So the game's gonna be fully released later, 2018. So you won't have to wait too long. But the battle royale, warning, it does kind of throw you right in there. No tutorial, but the controls
they literally throw you under the bus, don't they?
Yeah, there's like this bus that's got this balloon and it's flying over this giant map, and you have to jump out of it. And then
no, don't you die? Like
no, you have a parachute.
Okay, you have a parachute. Okay.
Yeah, it actually forces you to use your glider, which is actually what it's called, and then you'll land. So
how big? How many people do you like?
The maximum is 100, but the minimum is 90 because it's not likely that there's going to be exactly 100 people because some people are going to be busy and they're going to have to leave during the while it's waiting to gather players, and then there's never going to be any battling fun. So
now is it you versus all the 99 other people, or are there like different modes?
There's 3 different modes. Currently, there's actually 4. They added a new one. I don't know if it's temporary or not, but they'll have like these little temporary modes where they'll allow you to play them for testing, and then you can actually give your feedback on them. Right now, they have Blitz mode, which is the new mode that they have. But before I get to Blitz mode, I'm gonna get to the 3 main modes. So you've got solo, so in other words, you against everyone else. You've got duo, so you've got pretty much another guy who can help you. So at least one other person is your teammate, and then you've got a 4-person team mode, which that's basically what I say. It's also known as squad, but I like calling it 4-person team mode because it's more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So those modes pretty much speak for themselves, but Blitz mode, it's an interesting mode. There's a solo mode and a squad mode. I don't know if there's a duo mode yet. I don't know, but pretty much how it works is so there's a thing in the game which actually it doesn't do anything with the kill count, although as less people get there, as there's less people in the game, it definitely is shorter. It's called the Storm, and it basically it covers the island, and if you're in the storm, you take constant damage, and you can't go in that area ever. And it basically shortens the arena. So, Blitz mode, the storm is already formed. It's faster, does more damage. But another thing about it is even though it is a very quick-paced game, it's even more so because there's supposedly better loot. Although if when I played it the first time, I kept getting crappy stuff, but then later I ended up the next few times I got some good stuff because I got to a better location on the map. So. But it's basically a harder version of the game.
How high up have you gotten? Like, have you won a game of Fortnite, or how?
It's extremely hard to win the game just because of how many people there are. You don't know. You never know what the other person's gonna do. it definitely, if you don't have any resources to build stuff like a wall or something like that, build it huge. Anyway, before I anyway,
That's absurd. Says the guy eating McDonald's on the show.
hey, no politics.
You're the
DashV.
one. I didn't even say anything. I'm eating a sandwich over here.
All right, but anyway. Oh.
You can't remember what you were talking about, can you?
Oh no! I just couldn't hear anything on your end.
Oh, I muted myself so you wouldn't hear me chewing.
Oh, okay. So, so one of the things about the game is that building. It has a heavy emphasis on building. It's just simple, so you can't like. Luckily, you can't build anything inappropriate because I know some building games have problems like this. But it just like simple things such as walls, floors, roofs.
So I can't build a giant set of nads?
I don't know what that is, nor do I want to know. But no. You can also build like ramps and stuff, and if you edit the different build things, you can actually like have a door in there that you can like open and close. So you could legit build a house. It's not going to look attractive because wood will just look like a bundle of sticks and logs. Stone, which is also known as bricks, so it'll just look like a brick wall with a couple of holes in it. Metal.
Now I have to interrupt you there though. Right, because you say like you can build a house.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they have the little bit of the game that I've seen, right? I've seen him jump out of the bus and I've seen him like run around on the ground. And I saw you were in this one area where there's like this trailer park and there was like these RVs like all like parked up. And you can't go in the RVs, right?
It's because they're too small. They're
right.
Like you can't go into vehicles yet, but the vehicles are just like they're a good way to get metal. Just don't you dare get those ice cream trucks because those have like 99,000 health. You're gonna be there for at least half an hour hacking away at the truck, and you'll get very little metal. It's like it's a sort of practical joke, but ice cream trucks make for great cover if some dude is trying to kill you.
Music?
What?
They play music?
So
does the ice cream truck play music?
No, because nobody's driving it.
Now, I just want to say, like, the thing that I thought was funny was that there's RVs. There's RVs in the game that you can't go into, but if you destroy the RV, you can use the materials to build a house.
Yeah.
That you can go into.
Yeah. Pretty much. And it gives you metal. So
this is so wasteful. So wasteful. Like you destroy you destroy 8 RVs, right? So that you can build a house. You can build like a studio apartment.
No, you're not building a studio apartment. In fact, the whole point of building is to provide cover or give you an advantage. I've seen people build like these ramps, like they're literally like this on the ground. Like the ramps are just up in the air. Some dude's like on top of them trying to shoot unsuspecting noobs or even unsuspecting pros at the game, depending on how new you are at the game.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say that you build this giant ramp or this giant tower or whatever. Can't I just destroy the tower and have you fall to your death?
Yes, if you eliminate the bottom or anything below something that isn't already held up by another structure, the thing will fall apart, plunging you to the one-way ticket to death.
So why would somebody do that? Like, what is the point of like building this giant tower and then I just like take out the bottom of the tower and you die?
Here's the thing. The way it works is usually it pretty much they won't build like ramps that are like super high unless they're trying to scale a mountain. They'll build They usually have like 1 or 2, so they won't take fall damage. It just gives them the advantage of having a higher ground, so they can shoot.
Right.
And guns can destroy any materials. If you want to hear about a good list of guns for raiding enemy bases, I'll talk about that later. But
So how's this work in practicality, right? Like, I guess what I'm imagining is you're in this firefight, there's people shooting at you, and you're building a house. Like, how the hell does that work? Like,
here's how it works. So
Yeah,
there's
give me some insights here.
There's like a build mode, and pretty much it gives you like different options. If you have any metal, use that because that's the most powerful material. Otherwise, bricks or stone. I don't care what you call it. It's is good enough for building, since it's better than wood. But it's like it's the middle of all the materials. But pretty much you build it. So you select the build option, and you place it where you want to, and then you can just exit, and it builds automatically, and you can shoot. Because I mean, if it's like Minecraft, you're gonna die before you can build like a giant fort with like that's impenetrable, or at least hard to get into. Whereas this one, it'll almost already be built by the time you're done placing it. And yeah.
So you're saying they have like prefab templates or something, and you select what you want from that, and it builds automatically?
Yeah, well, although there's not like templates of houses, it's like different things like wall, like a wall. So it's like a wall. It's shapes. So there's a rectangular wall shape. There's a floor / roof / bridge thing. Can be used either way. There's a ramp, and you can rotate these, so it doesn't really matter. And you can also edit these, so it doesn't have to be a certain shape or anything like that. It can be completely different if you actually want to waste your time being creative.
So this is kind of like
kill you.
So then this game is kind of like Battlefront meets Minecraft.
Yeah, but the only thing about this is there's no respawn thing, and the building it's not mandatory. You don't actually have to do any building, and half the time you don't even like half the time the houses or fortresses that you build, there's like towers where people will build a wall around them on all 4 sides. They'll put a ramp. They'll go up to the top of the ramp. They'll put another ramp here. So they'll already be on the bottom. They'll go up here. They'll put another ramp, and they'll continue to add walls to the house. It's a really quick and efficient way of building a tower. It can allow you to like get down into cover. It can also like when you're at the top, you can just pew 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 and kill people.
Do you have to make that noise when you do it?
No, you don't. I was just doing that for humor.
For a fact. I got you.
So
is there anything about the game that you think they ought to improve? Is there anything about the game that you don't like?
I definitely think it would be nice if they added more modes, like maybe add more permanent modes, such as like I think a capture the flag mode would be cool, because it would totally work. Like the map's huge enough. If you have like 50 players against 50 players, you can use the entire map for a capture the flags thing. Or maybe like have like a base defense where you have like 2 or 4 huge teams that like pick an area of the map and build like a base, and they have to protect it or something like that. Like if they or even like maybe have smaller battles, because not everybody's gonna have the time unless they die instantly.
Yeah.
To really battle with in the game, but some battles, for some people, battles can last 5 seconds. For others, it can last about a little less than an hour. So
wow. And
Or if it lasts 30 minutes.
what's the longest you've ever lasted? Have you ever been number one?
No, I haven't won any games, but in squad mode, I literally got second place. And in duo mode, I got second place.
Wow.
In solo mode, I got third place.
Wow.
And honestly, it's not the fact that I like got a whole bunch of kills and I ruled the leaderboard and all that. I literally just I went to places that I knew no one else would actually want to go because it was too close to where the storm was gonna be. I'd lie low, so if I heard like gunfire, I'd stay away from an area. I'd make sure that I'd have the best fighting weapon on me. So when I run around in the map, I usually have an assault rifle on me. So it's either a burst assault rifle, which by the way is really good at taking down forts because it does a lot of damage and it does like 3 to 4 bullets a shot. So or I just carry a regular assault rifle. And those are good for ranged. I don't do snipers because those snipers are better for if you have a giant tower or if you're on like a house or something and you want to kill somebody at range.
Yeah.
And then in close range, I use the pump shotgun and tactical shotgun. Those are really good because the pump shotgun does a crap ton of damage. Then you switch to a tactical shotgun, boom! You're just shooting them faster than you would with the pump shotgun. So you do a crap ton of damage, and you're constantly doing still a lot of damage to them, but faster. So
nice.
If I don't have the tactical shotgun, I use the tactical submachine gun because that has a fairly decent range for a close quarters weapon, and it shoots fast. So, and then in the team modes, something I thought was really cool is that if for whatever reason you don't have a headset, just saying not having a headset is totally fine. I'm not gonna go and tell people that you're stupid for not having a headset. It's all right to not have a headset. So this game actually has a way to coordinate with people without having to make text people or anything. There's the same map is always used because of how huge it is, and it's always changing as to what areas you can go to and what areas you can't. But if you in the beginning of the game, if you put a marker on a certain area, if you are on a squad or something else, people will be able to choose which area they'll want to go to. If they're smart, they'll choose where you want to go. Because then they can know where to meet up, and it also shows that they agree that they want to go to that place. And so, like, if you see one area, if you're playing on a squad battle and you see, like, one area has 3 markers from your 3 teammates, you should probably place your marker there to show that you're going to be there. Because
can you see other people's markers from other people's teams? I'm hoping no.
No, you can't.
Okay, good. Because otherwise,
it doesn't stop other people from going to that area,
right?
Unless it's a area that most people think sucks, like Tomato Town. Perfect for getting metal. Really good for getting loot if you're one person, because it does have a chest and has fairly decent loot, and you'll be able to because everyone else thinks it sucks, which it kind of does in comparison to everywhere else. Tomato Town is good for actually pretty much preparing yourself to kill. You can get weapons, you can get materials pretty quickly, and then everybody else who, like, pretty much, because, like, there's another place that's called Tilted Towers. That place is extremely popular. Like, literally.
So if you want to die quickly, go there.
Yep.
Gotcha. So
unless you're good at the game.
Yeah. So let's switch gears for a bit though and talk about another game. This is a blast from the Xbox 360's past. It's another one of those games where I didn't get the Xbox One for this game. I would have never like really, except for the fact that it was free on Games with Gold. It wasn't even on my radar, but I downloaded it, and my son was like, "Hey, let's play this game." And
actually, you were like, "Hey, let's play this game."
You were like, "Hey, let's play a game," right? And I think you were like, I don't remember the game that you wanted to play. I think it was Doom or Minecraft or something. But
Doom. We don't play Minecraft together because you never want to play it.
I fall asleep. I can't help it. It's just not my kind of game.
It's because by the time I'm done teaching you the controls, you're like, "Okay, I'm done," or like, "Okay, time's up."
What can I say? Like I build stuff in my defense.
You've never even built a house of dirt.
But I design and build data centers for a living, right? Like when I come home, the last thing, that's why I don't do drugs, right? Like doing drugs like requires building stuff from what I understand. According to Dennis Leary, right? Like building drugs, you have to like build these, elaborate pipe systems and all this stuff. And I'm not a carpenter. I want to build stuff. It's the same thing when I get home. Like when I'm home and I'm playing games, right? Like I don't want to build stuff, right?
Says the person who built a pinball machine.
Well, no, that's different. Like I took the pinball machine up. Well, first the machine.
Are you sure that's different?
The pinball machine came fully built, right? Except for the legs. And then I only took it apart because it was the only way to get it inside the house. So I had no choice. But you are right. Like it is a bit of a double standard, but like
yeah, totally a double standard.
Yeah. But Attack from Mars, like building it isn't playing the game, right? It's not like I go up to the game and I'm like every day, like, oh, let me like build the pinball table like before I play it. Like no, it was like a one-time thing. Like Minecraft is literally like, oh, here's a world that's not finished. Let me like
actually the world is finished.
Stuff. Then why are you building stuff?
Because that's what the game is about. It allows you, like, in survival, you have to build a house so that you don't die. In creative, well, it's perfect for building mini games and stuff. It's not that the world isn't finished.
But the deal is, but now I have a job where I have to go to work and build stuff so that I can make money so that we can have a real house so that we don't die. So like,
or you can just
I don't want to play a game like that. That's like what I do for my living.
It's easy to build a house, Dad. I built a pretty large house in under like a minute.
That's okay.
In survival.
I don't have the patience for that.
It's easy once you actually decide to want to play it or get the hang of it.
I liked Army of Two, and there's a lot of this took a little bit for us to figure out. A lot of people think that Army of Two on the Xbox One does not support two-player mode like the original 360 game. First of all, I want to make it clear it absolutely does, but it is a major pain in the butt to set up.
That's basically with most games nowadays. You have to, like, if I want to play Minecraft split screen on my stupid PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 never did this, Sony. So if I want to play with a friend on split screen, which is offline split screen for crying out loud, just to play offline Minecraft, I have to have somebody who is signed into the PlayStation Network and has PlayStation Plus.
Yep. To play couch co-op offline split screen. Yeah, that's kind of bullcrap. So the same thing is true of Army of Two, the 360 game Army of Two. You have to have two Xbox Live accounts, and it's even worse than that, right? You have to have two Xbox Live accounts that both have to have gold. So in order to play online, right? Like, so one of the things for the most part, I was, until Army of Two and some of these other, and Doom and some of these other games, I was the only one really playing the Xbox, the Xbox One, right? And so obviously I've got an account on there, and I got Xbox Games with Gold, which is why I got Army of Two in the first place. So I'm like, let's play Army of Two. Let's check this out, right? And we try to get the second player mode working, and
it says second player needs to be signed in via Xbox Live account.
Right.
So I'm gonna tell my story here. This is how I became Crowded Attic. So
I had many more children besides. the one that you see here, and
This
I
is
would have
totally
them all,
not fake, and it's totally not being made up.
I would have them all live up in the attic, and
Yeah.
only the ones that survived could come down for dinner. And you're looking at the survivor, Crowded Attic 400. He was number 400, and he beat the other 399 to be
I
the
beat
one.
them by playing Fortnite. In order to. So here's how it worked. For people to survive, it wasn't. I was actually the only one in the attic. Everybody else were attic gamers playing Fortnite. And if you won in Fortnite, which
You won
I
in
clearly
life.
totally did, I totally won Fortnite, guys. You get to come down, have a feast with ice cream.
Man, child services is going to come to my house and take you away because somebody's going to believe this story, as crazy as it is.
Disclaimer: this story is made up.
Yeah, it's not
and
true.
I am telling the truth. I'm not being paid for this. I have no money in my hands at all. Man. So that's why my Xbox One account is CrowdedAttic.
Because we randomly generated the name, right?
Yeah.
In order to play.
It was literally the first name generation. I never got around to trying to change it to something I actually wanted. Mostly because I couldn't get the hang of that.
You just wanted to play the game, right? You're like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'll take whatever name comes up. CrowdedAttic400. All right, that's me.
I mean, as long as it wasn't Clogged Toilet 9000, I was fine.
Could you imagine? Clogged Toilet 9000 has joined the match. You'd be like, wait, what? You've been killed by a clogged toilet. Oh man, don't have a heart attack. Not on the show. Come on. You're too young for that.
I had difficulty breathing. That was funny.
So I used to. This is before you existed, my friend. The game actually, Fortnite, is by the same company that made the game Unreal Tournament back in the day.
Yeah.
And when I used to play Unreal Tournament, every now and then, you didn't have like, it was on PC, and you didn't have like this Xbox Live this and subscription that. Like, so literally, you could just like set your name to whatever you wanted to and join the game. So you'd see all kinds of ridiculousness. And so one of the things I would do is I would set my name as your mom, right? So it'd be like, you've been killed by your mom, right? Like, so-and-so got beat down by your mom, right? Like all this stuff would be like, your mom did this, your mom did that. So, but.
Wow.
Anyway,
yeah.
So, I'm not going to repeat what Lister's Mate said, but the short version is Lister's Mate says that CrowdedAttic400 is a great screen name. You'll have fantastic stories to tell, and I'm not going to repeat the rest of it yet. So,
okay.
I'll repeat it when you're maybe a couple years older. So,
yeah.
It makes it sound worse. It makes it sound worse than what he actually said. What he said wasn't really that bad, but it makes it sound worse when I won't say what it is. But Army of Two, right? I
won't say what it is because it's my birthday present, isn't it?
So no. So
just kidding.
So Army of Two, right? Like we have to sign in another player, but we don't have like another account. So I have them go ahead and first I don't know that it has to be like I'm not thinking that it has to be Xbox Live, that both players have to be Xbox Live for couch co-op, right? Split screen mode.
I know. I kept telling him it was because of PlayStation 4 being stupid like that.
I was hoping Microsoft knew better, but apparently not. So
honestly, most game consoles don't know better when it comes to this.
Yeah. So we create the account, and then we we figure out how to log him in, and then it says like, both players must have live, and I'm like, what the hell? Like that's stupid. Like I'm not gonna get like 2 Xbox Gold subscriptions to like play a couch co-op game with my son. That's like silly, right? Why would I do that? So then I go back.
That's when he found out there's a family mode for Xbox Live where you can have
folks, there's a family mode.
Yeah,
there's a family mode.
There's also family mode on PlayStation 4 after a whole bunch of people complained. I'm assuming people complained because there wasn't a family mode for like the 3 years I was playing.
Yeah, so folks, activate family mode. If you want to play couch co-op games, right, you will have to create a separate PlayStation Network account, a
Yeah.
separate Xbox, account. But once you've done that, if you enable family mode on your console, what it does is it allows anybody on that console to leverage the either PlayStation Plus or the Xbox Gold membership on that box. So they can access games, they can have a separate sign-in from your sign-in. You can set up parental controls and things like that if there's certain games that you don't want them to be able to access versus your account. And I really like the way that it works on the Xbox One, right? You can set up a shortcut through the kind of like the Konami code or whatever, but you can set up your own shortcuts on the joystick and controller that are basically your login. So I can make my own login signature. Thomas can make his own login signature, and then we can effectively log into our respective accounts with our respective controllers and then go in and play the game. Now, that said, it took us, here's what I don't like. Like, Microsoft and Sony, you really need to work on smoothing this out because it wasn't obvious. It wasn't intuitive.
It wasn't easy at all.
It was not easy. It took like 25 minutes for me to just figure out how to
get an account than it was to make a 2,000-piece set, which actually the box is right behind me.
Yeah. So
and believe me, that was hard.
So it should have been easier than that, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like, especially so because I saw like tons of people online, right? A ton of people online saying like, "Hey, like it's only single player. This sucks. I can't blah blah blah." And some people could get multiplayer working, and some people couldn't get multiplayer working. So the trick is, at least if you're in the same household and it's a family member that you're trying to couch co-op with, have them create an account, set your console to family mode, and you're golden. If it's a friend of yours and you have gold and they don't, well, I'm sorry. Unless they get gold, you're not.
Or you can just let them use the account. It doesn't matter, because another thing
you have to share it, right? You have to share
it. Guest mode is completely useless. Like, there's no point in guest mode. Like, why they made that, but they don't allow you to play games with that, I don't even want to know.
I don't know. Speaking of why do they do that, I don't even know. I'm going to end the show because we're getting close on time here if we're not at it already. I was super excited to get Life is Strange Before the Storm in the limited edition in physical until I got it. And yes, okay, DashV, idiot, right? Like, you should be looking at this stuff. I was really kind of bummed out because it says, limited edition includes games and additional content, right? The game and additional content. However, so Life is Strange Before the Storm has 3 main episodes and a bonus episode that reintroduces the main character from the first game in like a special mini episode. What really sucks is that bonus episode is a digital download. So this physical copy that came out after they finished the entire game doesn't contain all the content of the finished game. And it costs twice as much as the digital version of the game. So I'm a little bit upset that I paid $40 for a game that's still incomplete when I already had the $20 digital version of it that was complete but not physical. So, I mean, I appreciate the art, the art book. I will enjoy that. The original soundtrack, I will enjoy that. It's got a really good soundtrack. But I'm really bummed out that at some point in the future, right, like, I'm not going to be able to play this game in its completion if Xbox, right, if the Xbox network goes offline or whatever. I think I'll have a better chance with Microsoft than with Sony because Microsoft doing the backward compatibility and all that other stuff. But still, I'm kind of bummed out. I'm really disappointed that
that waited. That definitely sucks.
Yeah, they waited almost like a full 6 to 8 months after the original release of the game. All the content for the game at this point is complete, and then they release a physical edition that doesn't have anything. I could understand if maybe still patching.
Doesn't it even say that it has additional content on it?
So here's the deal, right?
False advertising, isn't it?
No, unfortunately, right? Next to the additional content, and of course, I don't see this when I'm pre-ordering the game like a month in advance from Amazon.
It's the fine print.
If you look really closely, at the fine print, there's a little asterisk next to additional content.
Oh.
And then when you look at the back on bonus episode, there's an asterisk, and then when you look down, you see the asterisk says farewell bonus episode download code included. So I guess, folks, here's the cool thing. Since I already have the digital edition of this game, which I got the complete edition of the digital, so I already have the farewell episode. I'm willing to give out my code for the farewell episode to somebody that has this game and wants to play that. So if you've got Life is Strange Before the Storm, either in physical without the bonus episode, I don't even know if that's possible, or if you have just the digital version and you didn't pay the extra for the bonus episode but you want it, let me know and I'll send you out the code. The code won't do you any good if you don't already have the game. You can't just play the bonus episode. You have to have the game in order to use the bonus episode.
Isn't the code also like only works for one person?
It's only going to work for one person. But what I'm saying is I already have the digital version that's complete, including the bonus episode. So I don't need this download code for just that episode. I'll give that to somebody that's watching.
Maybe you should have like a contest or something.
Like we could do a contest, but I'll just give it out. I tried to do contest things before, and nobody follows up on my challenges. So
yeah. I guess maybe your challenges are either too challenging or not challenging enough.
Yeah, like maybe I should challenge people to, like, you know, build a tower in Fortnite or something. Like
that's
I don't
literally the easiest thing they do in Fortnite, besides picking up a gun and shooting it in the air.
So yeah.
Or even just turning on the TV.
Yeah. I think also, you know, an easy thing to do is to release a game that's actually the complete game.
Yeah, that's
so
the way.
I don't know why this generation it's become so hard, nigh on impossible. Good game. You should definitely play it. I'm not saying don't get the limited edition. Just understand that if you do, parts of it are going to be digital. So the art book's going to be amazing. The soundtrack is good. I don't regret getting the game, but I am bummed that I bought the game twice and still didn't get everything in a future-proof package. So that's kind of a bummer. So, but that's the way that it goes nowadays, this generation. So, folks, what do you think? Have you seen Tomb Raider? What are your thoughts on it? Yeah. Do you think that we're good? Do you think that we're not so good? In terms of our take on Tomb Raider, you think we're way off the mark, or do you agree with us? Let us know down in the doodly-doo. Let us know on Twitter. Also, you know, what are your thoughts on Fortnite? Are you guys playing it, enjoying it? Do you want us to swap gamer codes, that kind of thing? So do they still call them gamer codes? What do they call them?
They're called gamer tags.
Gamer tags.
You were very close.
Gamer tag. I was close, but so
other people will say nameplate, and that's like, one, it's not a plate, and two, it's a gamer tag, not my name.
The way you said that, not a plate. Duh. Like, am I eating like grilled cheese sandwiches off of this name?
It's not like it's not like it's stuck on like my character's person, like a license plate or anything like that. Right. It's floating above their head.
Gotcha. So it's not a nameplate. It's a gamer tag.
Gamer tag.
All right. So Lister's Mate wants to know. I'll let you answer this last question from the chat before we turn off for the night. Lister's wants to know, what mobile games do you play?
Me?
Yeah. I already know the answer, but go ahead.
So what do you mean? Mobile games is in like the ones on the phones, or like portable consoles?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think he meant mobile phone, but
I don't do mobile phone games. The reason I don't do that is I used to have one, but then looking at the downloadable content for some games, and it's just nothing but coins, and all sorts of bullcrap I don't want to deal with, so I deleted it. And then like there's games like Minecraft and there is an early access version of Fortnite that you have to have permission to play, because it's that version strictly for testing for the mobile version. And like mobile versions of some games, I don't even bother, because I know, like, I have experience that, like, I have Minecraft Windows 10 Edition, and although the touchscreen controls on Windows 10 Edition are better because of the larger screen, the fact that, like, I mean, look at this. I know the case is huge, but the phone screen is tiny. And you think it's tiny, and how am I going to actually be good at the game I'm playing when I can't even see half of it?
Gotcha. So what other kind of what games no, we don't play Pokemon Go, either of us.
Yeah.
But so what kind of portable gaming do you do then?
Well, I definitely like playing PlayStation Vita. That it has a lot of interesting titles. Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition, it's one of those versions where you probably don't want to have too many worlds because it doesn't run as well as the PlayStation 4 does.
Gotcha.
It's about PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 run level, so it's not that good. But there's other games like Duke Nukem, Tearaway. Let's see.
Tearaway was really good on the Vita.
Although the PS4 is actually the definitive edition.
Yeah.
But Tearaway is pretty fun on that PS Vita. Retro City Rampage is pretty good on PlayStation Vita. It's actually, I prefer that one because it's the perfect type of game that I can play on the go. It's one of those games that does pretty well on the small screen. It doesn't lag. It doesn't have any running problems. It's a fun game to play, and with the limitations of the controls on the PlayStation Vita, because they don't have the triggers below the bumpers or the R1 and L1 bits, so it doesn't have anything wrong with the limitations of the controller, and so that one's a good game to get.
So Lister says that he doesn't play many games on his cell phone either, for the same reasons that you said. His screen is way too small. So I'm using this is like a 6 Plus or a
that one's way better for playing games, because that's like that is like bigger than my screen.
The screen is bigger, certainly, but the problem for me is the controls itself. Like I'm used to I need to be able to feel the buttons.
I know.
I need to be able to feel the buttons.
And half the time my touchscreen doesn't even work, so I know I'm not going to do well in games unless I have a physical controller.
Yeah, same. So, folks, we hope that you enjoyed today's show.
It's the special father and son edition.
It's the special father-son edition. What do you think? Should we do more father-son edition stuff? Let us know. Comments.
I definitely think so.
You might be slightly biased, but folks,
totally not biased.
Let us know down in the doodly-doo. Is there any games that you want us to hear us talking about? Maybe give a father-son take on. Let us know. We've got quite a library of games. Both in
I play lots of multiplayer, so I can deliver. I read Game Informer while Dad's not looking. Wow, I'm on a roll tonight. I play lots of multiplayer games, so I can give some decent news about Fortnite, Minecraft, Star Wars Battlefront. The first game, not the second one.
We don't have the second one.
A few others. Yeah, I don't know how the second one's gonna really go with those microtransactions, making a sort of pay-to-win game at first. It kind of does not sit well with me.
Yeah, they've made a lot of changes, though. They've made a lot of changes. They listen to user feedback, so it's a very different game now than it was when it first launched.
Yeah, and but people who definitely
didn't give it a try before maybe should give it a try now.
Yeah, people who bought the DLC when they first had it, though, they definitely have an advantage. So, yeah.
Yeah. But, alrighty, so we are going to be going, and folks, we'll see you next week on Retro Reload. So don't forget to leave comments down the doodly about Tomb Raider, about Life is Strange Before the Storm. What'd you think of it? Have you played it? And also Fortnite.
Jinx.
So.